What is going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Faith Like That in our book vlog series. In this series, we're talking about parenting, and today specifically, we're discussing our legacy. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Faith Like That in our series about books, and in this one specifically on parenting. I'm so excited you're here, and just before we get started, I just want to say if you have not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe and connect with us. Hit that bell icon so you know when our videos are coming out. Also, at any point in this video, if you find value in what we're sharing or you just like the video, please go ahead and smash that like button. All right, so this week again, we're talking about parenting, and specifically, we're talking about our legacy. We're getting close to the end of the book that we're discussing, that is A Standard for Black Fathers, a Blueprint for Building a Legacy. And as always, I do want to share it's a great book by Kelvin McNeil Jr. I want you to go out and get the book. Actually read the whole book. I'm not going to discuss the whole thing, but I do want to hit on key points that I think are significant for you in our discussion about parenting. Before we start talking about strategies, some things we need to set up in ourselves first to be the most effective with the strategies we might use. So I think you should get the book. Also, I do want to share that it's called A Standard for Black Fathers, but I think for anyone looking to improve as a parent or be the best parent they could, these principles are still great and are still applicable to you too. So go out, check out the book, and this is something that could benefit everyone. This week, again, we're talking about legacy, which is significant. One thing that I'll say bothers me to think about, or sort of scares me a little bit. I'm not a really scary person or fearful about a lot of things, but it bothers me to think that I could be here on this earth and live and exist and work and do all these things, and then one day be gone, and almost nobody knows that I was here and I left no lasting impact, that I even existed. Like I was here and gone like that, and it was over with, and nothing was left by me or even improved or changed by me. And that is something that bothers me to think about. And not to say I want to go out and change or take over the world and be the most famous person, but I think even at least in my family, that I left such a lasting impact by my life and my actions and choices, that not just my children, but my children's children and their children's children's children will be thinking about me and know who I am because of what I did for the legacy of our family. And that's something you should want too. You should want to be impactful in that way in your family, not just for your children, but for your children's children's children's. The seed that you leave here would only be better because of you, but that you left a lasting impact on them and their world and their life. So this chapter is a great chapter. It has a lot of things in it that we should think about, and even more some things that it should spark some thought in your mind about things that you do in your life and for your children that could be the best or that could need some improvement or adjustment. So the first thing he talks about in here, in this chapter, is making sure you have a will. I think that could easily go in the other video we did about making sure our finances are right and we're financially responsible and stable. But I think a will is something that you need to set up if you are successful in life, in business, in careers, and you have amassed some money to be financially independent. That's the goal for us, or to have the things we want to have that house, that car. For me, I want a yacht, and I know what kind of yacht I want. The Lazara LSX 75. I got pictures of it up on my vision board. But if you have these things, you have these investments, and you are financially independent, or say you've gotten rich, if that was your goal. We want to be wealthy over rich. Don't forget that. But that what happens with it when you're gone, because you can't take any of it with you. So we spend all this time amassing it and saving it, but then what's the impact it's having on you or even on your offspring? But then if you don't set up some kind of security or structure or framework for what should happen with the things that are yours and what you've accumulated when you're gone, then it could go to the government, it could go to the state, it could go to family members you don't want it to go to. So you had a will before, and you didn't go back and update it when you got married or remarried. So now your children or the people you want to have that money or those things most don't get it. It goes to the wrong person. So you should be responsible financially. And part of that is making or creating a will and having a will in place in the event of your untimely demise, or even if it's you're in the ripe old age of 95 or 120, and this is going to be the day you check out and you go on up yonder to be with God, that you have something in place to say what happens with your things. I think one thing that I do want to touch on with talking about a will, yeah, it's great to think about, yeah, I want my finances and my houses and cars or whatever of who that goes to. I want that to be in place. There's no fighting, because people kind of get ugly around that time where there's things to be had or be taken or collected now that you're gone. And they want it, but then somebody else wants it, but now there's fighting over your stuff. But we can just go ahead and set that up straight. This is the will. I want y'all to know this is my will. This is who it goes to. Let's not fight about that. But also that if you have children that are young, that are minors, that can't care for themselves right now, what happens to your family, to these children that are here, especially if you aren't in a relationship with their mother, or some kind of way you and the mother are together when this happens, that what happens to those children? And I think it's imperative to say that we need to make sure we plan for what's going to become of them if something happens to you all untimely. So another thing that we want to plan for in our legacy, the legacy that we're leaving on this world, on this life, on our families, on our children's children, is the choices we make. We want to be financially stable and be able to set them up for success, but then we also don't want to create environments or practices or behaviors that would create trauma in their lives, and then thus there's a generational curse or generational trauma that exists in our family, because now we had this behavior or this way of doing things in front of our children, and now they grew up to do the things that we didn't want them to do, but that they saw us do. So we need to make sure that we plan for adjusting our lifestyles and our behavior and our choices to not include or inflict any generational curse or trauma onto our legacy and our children's children. Nipsey Hussle said, he talked about this in the book, that if the people around you don't inspire you, and I just want to stretch that a little bit to say, if the people around you, if the things around you, or the choices that you make don't inspire you or improve you, then you don't have a community, you have a cage. So it probably wasn't just like that, but he said something to that nature, and which is true, that the things you do, the people that you surround yourself with, the concepts that you incorporate, the ideas and beliefs that you have should be ones that inspire you and build you up. And if they're not building you up, then you have a leash and a cage, and you need to correct that. So we don't want those things. We don't want these behaviors. We don't want these ideas. We don't want these habits to kind of be something that is impressed upon our children. So there are 3 things that Kelvin McNeil talked about in this book with that generational trauma that I do want to touch on. Again, I don't want to read the book for you, but I think you should go out and get it. But I do want to talk about this. He talked about avoidance. He talked about withdrawal. He talked about self-harm. Let me get some water. 3 great concepts that he shared, because they can have a lasting impact and effect on your family and on your legacy. So check this out. That if you spend the time with your children always on the phone, always looking at TV, or you just go sit there and we'll be in here in the same room, but you get on the tablet and we don't actually engage and spend time, that could be avoidance. What are we avoiding with spending time with our children? Why can't they engage with us? Or why haven't we prioritized this relationship enough to spend time with them and hear from them? Now, that avoidance, or just the fact that you are absent, could also have an impact, which is the withdrawal. And you hear that sometimes people have psychological issues when someone's not there, when their father is absent, or in the event that they lose a family member that was close to them, that it has a psychological impact on this person. And it happens with children, that children will go into withdrawal if they don't have certain things that they need from you. And this is displayed differently in a lot of people. So especially if you were there at one point, but now you're not there, then yes, that can have this impact. The same way we talk about alcohol being there, but now not being there. That you were something that they depended on that is now gone. So we don't want their dependency to be such where they always depend on you that way. You should build them up and get them ready to be an adult. But right now they're children and they do need you. They need to depend on you, and you need to grow them to where they don't need you. And the last we shared was that self-harm, which is a great concept to think about, because self-harm not just being in drug abuse or maybe like a suicide thing, but self-harm in maladaptive behaviors, the things that we do that are no good for us, but we do them anyway. And this could be the relationship you got into, husband or wife, that you probably shouldn't be getting into, or the unhealthy relationship trends that you have that are I guess perpetual, we'll say. They keep happening. That I get into a relationship, I bring them around and make it seem like they're so great and everything's awesome, but they're really not that great, and then we end up breaking up and I bring another person around. Or they come in and they inflict harm and now they're gone. So I teach my children that it's okay to keep bringing people in and out of your life that aren't going to be consistent, or it's okay to keep finding people or aligning with people that don't mean you any good and allowing them to cause harm to you or have negative impacts to you that will have a lasting effect now on everyone that sees that. This is something that's okay and it's normal, and you don't want your children to think that. So any behaviors that you may be participating in or choices that you make right now that may look like, hey, this is okay. When you don't want that for your children, you should stop it now. So you can teach them now that this is the way it should be. And that even extends back again to the last video that we did on finances. And we might do another one to talk about a few more financial concepts, but teach your children to be financially literate and competent. So if your maladaptive behavior is spending money before you have it, or spending money you don't have, or spending money on things that it should not be spent on, that don't add value to you, that don't kind of increase your assets and really increase your liabilities and make things harder on you, and then you're just throwing money away that you're 50 and you have anything to show for it. Don't teach your children that, please. So again, the book is The Standard for Black Father, Blueprint for Building a Legacy. And again, I think this could apply not just to a black father, but a black mother. It could apply to any parent. So if you made it to this video, I don't want you to think that this doesn't apply to you because you're not a black person or a black father. All these things are great, and I think this is a great book that you can go out and read. So thank you for spending time with me today as we talked about this book and we talked about parenting and some strategies that we could use to increase the level of our parenting to make it the best that it could possibly be for us and our family. So if you have not done so already, please connect with us. Hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you know when our videos are coming out. Also, if you found value in this video, or if you're still here, I think you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. When you hit the like button, it tells YouTube this is great content and to play it for you more often, or play these types of videos for you more often, or for other people. So also drop us some comments. We would love to engage with you in the comments and hear from you wherever you are. If you have questions, prayer requests, or you just want to say, hey, this is a great video, or I like this point in the video, or I read the book and I like this point in the book and I want to share this as well. Outside of that, again, thank you for spending time with us. Until next time, have faith, be safe, and we'll see you soon.